Hey, this is Reggie Fab coming at you. I just finished week 5 of my year of living differently. And this week was all things Pinterest. I figured if I'm going to spend all my time pinning stuff, I might as well try some of the things that I pin. So, there are quite a few things I tried this week, so let's just jump to it. The first set of things are from my board, Yummy for Your Tummy. I am not a huge cook, but I love to bake. But what I really love are recipes. I love seeing what foods work together, what things complement each other, what spices bring out flavors, how food actually works together. And so exploring new recipes is always fun for me. So I checked out 4 this week, and the first was the crock pot beer chicken. The first surprise was I really thought the chicken was going to taste like beer, and it didn't. You can't even really taste a strong beer flavoring to the chicken. It is the moistest chicken I've ever cooked. It was amazingly moist. But because the beer is seasoning the chicken, and it's really hard to season the beer, it didn't have all of the flavor that I wanted it to. So I seasoned the chicken well. I mean, I had garlic and onion and salt and pepper and Montreal steak flavoring and Italian seasoning. So I added a significant number of seasonings, but you really have to rely on the beer. Now, I used a pale ale. Maybe I needed to use a stronger beer. And let me also state that I'm not a big beer fan. But overall, I thought the chicken was good. Didn't knock my socks off. It's worth trying, but it's not gonna go into your favorite recipes of all time. The second one I tried was the roasted cauliflower. Now, I'm not a huge cauliflower fan. I like cauliflower. It comes in a vegetable medley. I'll eat it. But this was delicious. You take cauliflower, you cut it up in florets, you slice some garlic. They said 2 cloves. I would go for at least 4. Mix lemon juice and olive oil, salt and pepper, drizzle it over the cauliflower and the garlic, put it in the oven, 25 minutes. One small change that I made was that I mixed olive oil and sesame oil. I think the sesame oil gives it a really nice flavor and worked really well with this dish. However, tip, sesame oil burns faster than olive oil, so you really got to keep your eye on the dish. Mine was a little crispy, but it was still really delicious. And as a matter of fact, as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go eat some more. So that was the roasted cauliflower. The third recipe I tried was hard-boiled eggs in the oven. I just couldn't get past eggs in the oven. What? How does that work? So I tried it, and they're pretty good. I think I may have left mine in the oven too long. I had mine in for about 30 minutes, and some of the egg actually seeped through the shell. I also had a couple people on Pinterest saying that they were easier to peel. I didn't have that experience. Now, I will say that you can run them under cold water and get them to a temperature where you can handle them much faster than you can if you boil them. But this is a great way to have hard-boiled eggs, especially if you need to make a lot. You just put them in a muffin pan. You get 12 and a half hour ready to go. So that was a great tip and just a great thing to have in the back of your mind for any time you might need to make a lot of hard-boiled eggs. The last thing I tried was actually melding 2 recipes together. I have a recipe for sweet potato burgers with avocados, and I had a recipe for chickpea and sweet potato burgers. So I made the chickpea and sweet potato burgers, but instead of using the dilly cucumbers, I served it with avocado. Now, a couple of changes that I made. I used an immersion blender instead of a food processor, and that was a little difficult. So I had to add a little lemon juice and olive oil to get it so that the immersion blender would work. It worked fine. I would recommend it. I don't think it's necessary, but it did work really well for the recipe. Another thing that I did is I added cumin. It was odd to me that this recipe didn't call for it. I think it's such a great flavor with chickpeas. So I added some cumin. I probably added about 3/4 of a tablespoon. Really, really good. And then before I realized that I'm not supposed to be eating wheat, I did add a few panko breadcrumbs in with the chickpea mixture. So that added a little crunchiness to the burger, and I thought that worked really well. But this was delicious. I served it with the avocados on top, and thank you, Yoshi, who gave me the tip of putting a little soy sauce on the avocados. It was fantastic. So I'm including all of the recipes and everything that I mentioned today in the video description box, so you can check them out and see how well they work for you. Okay, so my next board that I looked at was Handy Tips, and this is by far my favorite board. I have gotten so many great tips, things that make your life easier, quick fixes, and things you would have never thought of off of this board. So the first thing I did was from the coconut oil pin. I read through the coconut oil uses, and one of them is oil pulling. I had never heard of this, but this is an Ayurvedic, I hope I'm saying that right, method that has been around for centuries. And what it essentially involves is taking a vegetable oil, doesn't have to be coconut oil, it can be safflower or sunflower, it could even be olive, but any kind of vegetable oil, and swishing it in your mouth for about 15 to 20 minutes. And what this does is it pulls the toxins that are in your body, and then allows you to get rid of those toxins through oil swishing. That seemed really odd to me. How is oil in your mouth going to get rid of toxins throughout your whole body? But there were people who were swearing by it. I read a lot of websites curing asthma, allergies, diabetes, chronic fatigue, just a number of ailments. And people were really raving about it, so I said, hey, I'll give it a try. Now, I have been very fortunate. I haven't been sick this week, so I can't speak to its curing properties. However, I will tell you that the first time that I used it, I was amazed at how much whiter my teeth were and how much cleaner they were. That made no sense to me. You're putting oil in your mouth and it comes out cleaner. But one of the websites described it as like oil in an engine. You put oil in the engine to run it around to get all the gunk out so that the engine works better. And so that's essentially what happens in the oil pull. It pulls all of the gunk out of your system so that your system runs better. And so I don't know if it's related to the oil pulling or related to some of the other things that I've been doing, but I've also noticed that my skin is looking a lot better. So even if it's nothing more than improved oral health and skin that is a little clearer, I'll take it because it's a really inexpensive way to detox. The only price is the cost of the oil. So it's a really good and easy detox. And just from my week, I give it a huge thumbs up. Great experience with the oil pulling. I highly recommend that you try it. So I will include a link to that in the video description box, as well as a few of the articles that I got for oil pulling as well. The next pen that I tried was 6 Weird Beauty Tips. I only tried one of them, and this was the drinking apple cider vinegar in water. Now, I am a huge vinegar fan. I think that everybody should have distilled white vinegar to clean your house and apple cider vinegar to clean your body. It's amazing. And so I highly recommend it. I was just using it to help clean out my system, which it certainly did, and it was great. It does not taste good, and I drink it with hot water, which meant I had to sip it. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend just adding it to room temperature water and just knock it back, knock it out. I have not tried the Pepto-Bismol facial, but when I do, I'll let you know. That was really interesting to me. The next pen that I looked at was 17 tips to make your life easier, but the last one was cleaning out your dryer vent. And so I decided I was going to try it. I took the vent out of the dryer. I was a little disgusted by how much lint and gunk was underneath the actual trap itself. But I ran water through it. It's meshed. Water should run right through. Totally didn't. Sat right on top like they said. So I just got some Dial soap and a toothbrush and cleaned it out. So I don't know if it will lead to lower electric bills, but certainly a less chance of starting a dryer fire, which is a great thing. So something you do every 6 months, great little handy tip to know, and hopefully will lower your costs as well. Another vinegar tip was to take distilled white vinegar, put it in a Ziploc baggie, and to put it on your shower head, let it sit overnight. I actually did this for my kitchen sink, and I let it sit for about 2 hours. Came back about 2 hours later, took the bag off, wiped off the sprayer head, and it looked like a brand new sink. It was so quick, so easy, amazing. Vinegar is just one of the best things out there. I highly recommend that you do this for your shower. It just gets rid of all of that hard water buildup and the soap scum. So easy to do and costs you literally pennies to do it. Last but not least, there's a tip for getting your house to smell great, to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract in a coffee mug and to put in your oven. I am a purist, so I love real vanilla extract as opposed to imitation, and the pure vanilla extract cost a pretty penny. And I didn't have any, but I had people coming over and I was like, oh, I need the house to smell good. So I wound up using almond extract and coconut extract, which just made the house smell like I was baking a cake. It was so good. And so I just wanted to mention that this obviously works. Vanilla is a great scent, a great neutral scent. Most people like it. But there's some other extracts that you can use, and the technique works just as well. And they cost a little less. So just something to stick in the back of your mind and remember as you're trying to make your home smell lovely. And so I couldn't even get to all of the things that I really wanted to do this week. So next week is All Things Pinterest 2. And I'm going to be looking at my board's waste reduction. And I'm going to go back to Yummy for Your Tummy, really looking at some healthy recipes and ways that I can be healthier and more physically fit. As I have already dropped 10 pounds. Yay! And I am looking to drop a few more. So until next week, bye!